The Discovery, Chapter 13, The Next Morning. The piercing light of the lazy morning sun beamed through the small gap of the curtains and into Midnight's dark room. The light was subtle, almost faint, but compared to the dark void that was Midnight's bedroom, the sun might as well have just been outside, peeking in through the windows. Unfortunately, one tired soul was caught in the crossfire of light and dark. A sleeping form, tangled in a mashup of fur and skin, stirred ever so slightly. One eye begrudgingly opened to see the source of its torment, and a lazy groan filled the air. Millions of miles away, and perfect aim. Damn it, Tia. David complained. A furry body wrapped tightly around David's torso stirred as well.
It's too early. Go back to bed.
Midnight's tired voice filled the air.
I want to, but this ray of light is just burning into my retinas. And it's ruining my plans to cuddle with you for the next 12 hours.
David said, his voice turning mischievous. Midnight raised her head off of David's chest. The blanket slowly slipped off of her ears as she looked up at him.
Well then, we have no choice. The sun must die,
she said, her tone taking a serious edge. She held David's gaze for only a few moments before a wide smile broke her serious demeanor. David's grin quickly grew to match Midnight's as he gently grabbed her shoulders and pulled her closer. He planted a small kiss on her muzzle, earning a happy sigh from the graphite mare. Midnight leaned forward, resting her head on David's throat while he happily wrapped his arms around her and held her close.
I can't believe we did that last night. It almost feels too good to be true.
Midnight said in disbelief.
Yeah. It's still kind of sinking in. Mid, are we...
David started.
If you're going to ask if we're in a relationship right now, then the answer is a definite yes.
Midnight answered.
Yeah, I guess that does kind of answer the question. So, what do you want to do today? Well, if I'm being honest, I don't know. Right now, all I want to do is stay right here.
Midnight said, nuzzling David's neck. David smiled and stroked his fingers through Midnight's mane, earning another happy sigh from her.
Well, how about that? I wanted the exact same thing.
There was a long pause before either of them spoke again. They were both content to simply lay in each other's embrace, without a care for the rest of the world around them.
Hey, David?
Midnight asked.
Yeah? I'm really glad I found you.
Me too. I must be the luckiest guy in the galaxy, David said, smiling warmly. A bashful smile forced its way onto Midnight's lips, and she hugged David tightly.
And I must be the luckiest mare in the galaxy too,
she said, planting a kiss on his neck.
Did I ever tell you how much I love your eyes?
David asked, nonchalantly.
I don't think so, but by all means, tell me. I love the attention.
Midnight replied, lifting her head off of David's neck to look him in the eyes.
Well, I'm no poet, but I think you have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. Even more gorgeous than Celestia's,
David said, punctuating his compliments with a kiss.
Oh, you're so sweet, big guy. But come on, I'm not that pretty. I'm actually pretty dull to most stallions, with my dark coat and mane and all.
Midnight said dismissively.
You want to know what I think? I think your coat is the softest, fuzziest, most gorgeous coat I've ever seen or felt. Your mane and tail are so beautiful. I've seen them all done up and brushed, and even without doing that, they shine like they're made of obsidian or ebony. Who else can say that? Plus, I've always had a thing for girls with black hair. Midnight, you are beautiful. I'm not even a pony and I can see that,
David said firmly. Midnight fought the growing blush on her cheeks at David's compliments.
You silly filly, you keep that up and Princess Celestia's gonna get jealous,
she said, hiding her ever-reddening face from David.
Well, it's the honest truth. And I even think Celestia would agree with me there. She even told me that she thinks you have a beautiful and rare coat. Really?
Midnight asked incredulously.
Really, really.
David happily answered. Midnight smiled warmly and nuzzled her head against David's chest.
So, since we're both up, what do you want to do now?
Midnight asked.
Well, like I said, I was gonna stay here with you today, unless you want to do something else.
David replied.
Well, I would like to talk about our relationship a bit. What about it? Well, since we're in a relationship now, I guess I just wanted to know how it's going to work. Like, are there any human customs that I should be aware of when it comes to dating? I mean, you know how most of pony relationships work by now.
Midnight explained.
Well, except for the herd thing, I think I have a pretty good grasp of pony relationships. Let me think. Well, where I come from, on a typical date, the man will buy his girl flowers, or chocolate, or something else. He'll take her to dinner, and so on and so forth, leading into what we did last night. We pretty much skipped like 7 steps.
David responded with a chuckle.
Oh, is that bad? No, not since we were best friends before we did that. We pretty much did steps 1 through at least 4, a few times. Oh, phew, okay. Well, anyways, that's strange. Your dating customs are pretty much the exact same as ours, only the genders are reversed. Here, it's usually the mare that will ask the stallion out and do things to impress him and get his attention.
Midnight replied.
You know, I never understood that. Why do you guys do it that way? I thought that since the stallions are so much bigger, they'd be the ones to initiate. Well, it's just a numbers thing. When the female population outnumbers the male population, 6-to-1, we mares need any stallion we can get. That's also why herds are so common. If every single stallion was taken, that would still leave more than 3/4 of our population without a mate.
Midnight explained.
Okay, that actually makes a lot more sense now. You don't want a herd, do you?
David asked cautiously.
And share you with some other mare? I think not.
Midnight answered, turning her nose up. David laughed.
Whew, well, good, because I don't think I could deal with that. I don't think I could be with more than one person at a time. I'm glad to hear it. That means I get you all to myself.
Midnight proclaimed, punctuating each sentence with a kiss. David and Midnight shared a tender smile before Midnight nuzzled her head back against his neck. He wrapped his arms around her and lightly squeezed her closer. Eventually, the morning light faded away, and dark clouds filled the air. David noticed the apparent darkening of the room and turned his head to look through the small slit between the curtains. He gently nudged Midnight with his hand, earning an inquisitive, from the unicorn.
Is it just me, or did it get dark all of a sudden?
David asked. Midnight lifted her head away from David's neck and looked to the window. She tilted her head to the side and rose off of David's body. She gently hopped off of the bed and walked to the curtains. With an effortless swipe, the curtain slid open and the white world outside assaulted both Midnight and David's eyes. The ground outside was already covered in a thin layer of snow, and more fell as the 2 pairs of eyes stared out in awe.
Whoa.
David breathlessly whispered.
Looks like we finally got the snow every pony keeps talking about.
Midnight happily observed.
I've never seen snow before. How about that?
David thought out loud. Midnight nearly fell over from the force of how hard she turned her head to face him.
What? You've never seen snow? No, where I grew up, it didn't snow. And I never saw it in person. It's really cool, though. I thought I told you that.
David answered.
But no, you never said that! Okay, we are going to get cleaned up, and then we're going to have some fun in the snow. For you to go your whole life without even seeing snow in all of its glory, that's criminal.
Midnight said, resolutely. Midnight headed to the bathroom before David could utter a word of protest. Within 30 seconds, the sound of running water filled the air, and steam could be seen filling the bathroom.
Guess I'll go shower downstairs then.
David called out to Midnight as he made his way to the stairs.
Oh, no you don't.
Midnight called back as her horn lit up. David began, only to be stopped by the force of Midnight's magic pulling him back towards the shower.
Okay.
David said, as he was literally dragged to the bathroom.
You're gonna hop in here with me and help me clean my fur and tail, big guy.
Midnight said with a wink. David raised a finger to protest, but quickly put it down.
You know what? That's fair,
he admitted. Midnight hopped into the warm water and let out a happy sigh as it soaked into her coat, and slicked her mane back. David awkwardly shuffled in behind her and caught the stray water droplets as they ricocheted off of Midnight's coat.
These showers are not meant for a pony and a human,
David said to no one in particular. Midnight turned her head to face David.
Okay, I have an idea.
She said, as she turned completely around.
Here, sit down right there.
Midnight said, as she pointed to the spot in the shower directly between them. David did as ordered and sat down cross-legged in front of Midnight. She quickly hopped into his lap and planted a kiss on his unsuspecting lips. David happily returned the kiss after he had recovered from the surprise. Their lips separated after a short time, and Midnight used her magic to aim the shower head at their bodies. Warm water quickly collided with David's skin, and he sagged his shoulders slightly as the heat worked its way into his body.
There we go, much better,
he happily said.
Yep. Maybe I'll get a bigger shower in the future. That does not look comfortable for your legs,
Midnight said.
It's alright, just a little tight in here is all,
David admitted.
We'll make this quick then. We'll have to plan our future shower cuddles,
Midnight said with a giggle.
How about a bath? As long as we're not dirty when we get in, it'd be super relaxing. That sounds like a fantastic idea,
Midnight replied.
Now get to scrubbing! Hot water helps, but fur isn't gonna clean itself,
she teased, and David broke a wide smile.
Yes, ma'am.
I was so keen on looking through every single bit of this and hoping to God that there was nothing bad that I couldn't post. Coast is clear. Anywho, let's get on to our fragrant donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and Iron Sky. Darkside, Raiden, Normals, Black Moonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rowan, Stu, Hex, Sword Brother, Immortal, Damikar, Library, Runeside 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Ride, Soul, Shadow Moon, Luigi 88, Chancellor Quest, Big Smoke 369, Jesse Smith, Popcat GGF, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.